Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm talking about why do experienced foragers die, which equals why do mature Christians sometimes fall. Essentially it's the same question, so let me explain. I like to forage, it's one of my hobbies, and foraging basically means you go out into nature and you harvest from what God has let to grow there, for food, for medicine, or you can even make other things out of it like laundry soap or whatever. But you get it from nature, from the wild, whether it's plants, herbs, mushrooms, nuts, berries, whatever it is. And the thing that astonishes me again and again is every year you see in the news that people died because they foraged something that was poisonous and it killed them. So when someone is new to foraging, you would think that they are aware that they are new and they're not naive. They know there's dangerous stuff out there, so they'll be careful. Nonetheless, it happens sometimes, and it's like, okay, well, they didn't really know what they were doing, and yeah, they, I guess, overestimated themselves. And then there are experienced foragers that actually die. In fact, years back, there was a foraging guide, and he accidentally killed himself and his whole class, which were, I think, 8 to 10 people, on a field trip because he mistook a very, very, very dangerous plant for another one and just killed them all. Why? How can that happen? He was experienced, he should have known. And I think it's complacency. When you identify a plant, you jump through a few hoops, you check your tick boxes for identification to make sure you really have the right plant, because they are poisonous lookalikes and you don't want to end up with them. But if you're experienced, you might become complacent and you might think, oh, I've done this 100 times, I know this plant, it's annoying, I don't want to go through all the tick, but I know it. And that's when the mistakes happen. When you get lazy, when you get complacent. And there's a biblical principle in this, because why do Christians fall? Well, young and experienced Christians, they fall because they are naive and they don't really understand the war that we are in. They don't really know any better. They maybe lacked someone who gave them some guidance. But mature Christians, they fall because of complacency, because they get lazy. Because I can't be bothered putting on this whole armor again. Oh, it's so heavy. Maybe I'll leave it today. Things have been good. I'll be good. I'll be fine. But what does the Bible tell us? In 1 Peter 5, verse 8, it says, be sober-minded, be alert, be vigilant, be watchful. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. Now, how do lions hunt? Cats, including lions, are predators that sneak up on you. It's not an overt attack like wolves do. They encircle you and you know they're there. Cats are those kind of hunters that sneak up on you and they catch you off guard. And that's what the devil does. He sneaks around and he tries to find the weak spots. And believe me, he's got centuries of experience. He knows the weak spots. So that's why we have to be watchful. And when things are going good, when things have been going well for a while, we can get complacent. We can think, oh, I got this, I'll be fine. Nothing's gonna happen. But it's dangerous. And we let down our guard and we let down our armor. But God says, put on the whole armor of God. You can read about that in Ephesians 6 from verse 10. And it says, so that you may be able to stand against the schemes of the devil. And that's the problem. He's not straight out. It's scheming, it's cunning. If it was straight out, you could identify it as an attack easily. But because it's not, it's so dangerous. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, authorities, and cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. That's the reality. Now, if you see the enemy coming, obviously you brace yourself, you're ready for it. But because the devil is so sneaky, you might not always be ready. You might not be as vigilant as you think because you just don't recognize it. And that's where discernment also comes in. Just like as a forager, I need to be able to discern the good, healthy, tasty plants from the deadly ones. Or even if they are not deadly, I also need to discern them from the ones that just make me sick. In the same way, in spiritual life, we need to be able to discern what is good from what is evil, or what is good from what is better. We need to discern truth from error, even in our own minds. We need to discern what we hear, what we listen to, what we see, what we are told. We need to do the discerning ourselves. Can't let others do that for you. Listen, I'm part of foraging communities as well. And someone put up a post and said, hey, I collected these fresh fur, that fresh growth of the fur. What can I do with that? And they showed a photo of it. And I looked at the photo and I was like, that's not fur. That's yew. Yew, Y-E-W, which is one of the most deadly trees. Like, just don't go near it. It kills you. And I scrolled through the comments to see if anyone told that person that, hey, you actually collected something that is really deadly. No one did. They all just took that statement and said, oh, you can do this, you can make this, you can fry it, you can blah, 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 all that stuff. And I was like, oh my goodness, no one is doing the thinking here. These are all foragers. So I was the first one to actually say, wait a minute, I'm not so sure that that's fur. It looks like you to me. And only after I said that, people jumped onto that bandwagon, and all of a sudden they were like, yeah, this is you, and this is dangerous, and you shouldn't consume it, and so on. The thing is, they just didn't do their own thinking. And it's the same in the Christian life. We get deceived so easy because we just don't do our own thinking. Why do marriages fall apart? Why do people commit adultery? They don't plan to do this, but they are not careful. They are not discerning. They are not vigilant. You know, the husband thinks to himself, oh, I'll just go out for coffee with my female work colleague. What's going to happen? Nothing's going to happen. Or, oh, I'll just stay back and chat with this person. You know, it's innocent. No. That's why you need boundaries as well. You need to be vigilant, watchful, because the devil is out there to destroy us. This is a real battle we are in, and we need to understand that. And therefore, we need to take up the whole armor of God so we can withstand the evil day. So we have to wear the belt of truth that keeps everything together, the breastplate of righteousness, the shoes with the readiness to proclaim the gospel of peace. We have to take up the shield of faith, and the helmet of salvation, and of course the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying at all times in the Spirit with all prayer and supplication. Keep alert with all perseverance, making supplication for all the saints. And this is the thing, we need to stay in the word. We need to persevere. Sometimes it's not as exciting to read. Persevere. A warrior's job is not always exciting. You know? They have to do training all the time. It's not fun. It's hot. It's sweaty. You know, it's muddy. It's dirty. It's not necessarily nice, but it can save their life later. So do your reading and prayer. Don't think you can do this on your own. You need to stick close to God. There is a lion out there seeking to devour us. But there's also the Lion of Judah, who is the most powerful. He's the king. You are not a lion. If anything, you're a pup. And you think you can take on that one lion by yourself? Don't be too proud. Don't think that. No, it won't work. You really need to rely on God fully. 100% reliance on God. And to that extent, there is a quote by Alistair Beck from his Truth for Life, Volume 1, that speaks into that very well. And he said, God is always at work in our circumstances to bring us to a greater dependence on Him and a deeper praise for His rescue. And that's it. We need to depend on Him entirely, all the time. And you shouldn't be putting your armor on. You should never take it off in the first place. So with all that being said, stay vigilant, stay watchful, stay living in dependence on the Lord, the Lion of Judah. If you like my videos, then like, share, subscribe so others can benefit from them too, and you can really support me and it would bring me great joy. And yeah, I hope to see you again soon. Bye!